Joe Burrow and the Jackson connection. He played on our field in 2012 as a sophomore. Jackson did not play them when he was a senior.
James has the footage there.
Oh,
it's
yeah, okay.
Cool.
That was in 2012 now. And Athens won that game 21-14. He was a sophomore then. And I remember Jackson has always had good football. And I wondered if Athens would be good, even though they had this hotshot young quarterback, if they would be good enough to beat Jackson. I kind of doubted it, but they did. He passed well, but he also ran, I remember, for about a 60-yard touchdown run in that game.
Wow.
And in 2013, Jackson had a good team. They were a young team. They would get a lot better in the next couple of years. But they played over at Athens and lost 49-0.
Oh, wow.
Which is a very un-Jackson-like loss.
Very much.
And, of course, Joe Burrow was the quarterback then in 2013. In 2014, of course, he took his team all the way to the state championship game in their Division 2 or 3, I forget what it was then. But they played Toledo Central Catholic in a memorable state championship game. It came down to who had the ball last, and Toledo Central Catholic won by about 4 points, I think, something like 49-45, some crazy score. It might have been even 59-55 or something. But it was amazing. That must be Joe Burrow's touchdown run, if you've been watching on the monitor there. Where there's number 10. He wore number 10 in high school. He's changed to number 9 in the pros. I think he was maybe number 9 at LSU as well. But, he had a presence about him even as a sophomore. He had that it factor. We hope to do some special coverage. It hasn't happened yet, so I got to be careful what I say. But we hope to get some interviews with local coaches about their memories of Joe Burrow and what they thought about him at the time, and also what it means to them and their football programs, their sports programs, Joe Burrow's success, him being a Southeastern Ohio guy and a product of Athens High School who played on our fields, on our basketball courts, and so forth.
And
he was a very good basketball player, too.
Yeah, and people forget about that. But, what I love about that is, what a good inspiration for our young kids coming up.
It definitely is.
Yeah, we hillbillies down here can do just the same as everybody else.
Right, and even though, and I don't mean to be the poor mouther here, but a lot of times kids and people from our area have to do extra to prove themselves. Sure. It's kind of presumed in some of the high echelons of power that you weren't in a competitive situation as they are in the big cities and the wealthy suburbs and like that. And Joe Burrow, of course, remember, really didn't get recruited heavily by Ohio State. And as it turned out, when he went to Ohio State, and I don't blame Ohio State because Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields were great quarterbacks.
It was bad timing.
And he hurt his hand, too, that 1 year.
But it worked out well for everybody.
It worked out well for everybody. Of course, he went to LSU, had a good year his junior year, and then senior year, well, you know what happened.
All of it happened.
Won the Heisman Trophy. I mean, I wish he would have done that at Ohio State, but, I understand why things happen. And Joe Burrow has addressed that in press conferences. He felt that his Ohio State experience was one of the reasons that he has been so successful.
Yes.
It made him work hard to catch up and try to pass those guys who were ahead of him in the pecking order. He didn't. I don't think it was his fault. It was because they were very good too, and they were ahead of him to start with. And then he chose a new path for himself.
But, he left with grace and poise. And I think that's the big thing is, most people transfer, they leave. There he is playing basketball. And there's hard feelings and it's not done properly. And when he left Ohio State, it was nothing but respect all the way around, I feel like. And it was just done properly.
Right. I know he's kept contacts with some of his ex-Ohio State teammates, and they were very proud of what he did. And even though he did it for LSU, nobody held that against him that he went to LSU. Probably some people thought, you didn't get a fair chance, Joe, and all that. But Joe went to LSU, and you suddenly saw some LSU jerseys around southeastern Ohio.
That's right.
Because of what he did. So,
and it's funny because I think Carmen mentioned it when he was in the other day that when he went down to the playoff game last weekend, there were a lot of LSU fans. There were a lot of Joe Burrow fans there, not necessarily Bengals fans, but they were there for him.
Right. And Joe Burrow.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. And Joe Burrow has been transformational for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
If you probably don't have to be a pro football fan to know how since really for the last 20 years it's been miserable.
Yep.
If you're a Bengals fan, you're talking about
pretty bad.
You're talking about losing,
Yep.
frustration. If you do make the playoffs, it's not very often. Then you lose right off the bat, and just by the force of his talent and his presence, he has lifted this team. Remember, just 2 years ago, they had 2 wins, I think it was,
yes,
all year. That was how they got Joe Burrow. So that might have been a good season
in
retrospect.
Listen, yeah, you'll take it to end up where you are today. So.
Right. So just fantastic story, and everybody is going to be so excited heading into the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then in the Super Bowl, it's just it's kind of like a cultural thing. It just isn't a sports thing. Everybody,
it's an event.
You might go to a Super Bowl party and never watch the game, but
Correct.
It's just everybody gets involved in that.
That's right.
And you know what they're talking about doing a change. Haven't heard a whole lot about it on the big stations and everything, but they're talking about maybe doing the Super Bowl on Saturday. There's been some talk about that. And one of the reasons is, Saturday night's kind of like a night out anyway.
Nobody works on Monday.
No,
that's why.
No, that's it. You got it, girl.
Biggest call off day of the year.
The absenteeism on that Monday after the Super Bowl. Well, they don't start it till 6:30, and then it's over at 10 o'clock. And some people do party as well as watch the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're feeling real good or they're not feeling real good on Monday morning. So. But anyway, regardless, what a feel-good thing for all the area.
Yes.
Joe played basketball too. You saw some clips there of him playing Vinton County.
Thanks, James, for doing all
Right.
that.
No, that's very nice. I think there were some pictures posted when Joe was in the 3rd grade too on social media. So everybody's looking for that stuff.
He probably looks still about the same because
he has that baby boy
between
look,
he and the kicker, I don't know. They both look like they're 14.
Right.
They're so cute.
Right. Well, that's good because we've got him for a long time.
That's right.
And one of the priorities in the off season has to be getting him some better protection.
Yes. Yeah.
However,
you got to keep him vertical, not horizontal.
Right. However, only 1 sack.
They did much better.
But the Bengals adapted a little bit with quicker passes and a shorter passing game. And the defensive coordinator obviously did some things different in the second half as well. But just amazing, almost miraculous, almost felt like Al Michaels and his call for the 1980 hockey championship. Do you believe in miracles? That's almost seemed like what it was, especially the way that game started. And as a long-suffering Bengal fan, I am so excited. I know I'm not the only one out there. There might have been even a few Browns fans saying, "Okay, good." No,
you got to go Ohio at this point.
Right, that's what I say as well. And everybody tends to root for the underdog. There was something posted on social media, Jennifer. It was a joke, but you wonder if it's true. It had all the states, United States in color.
Yeah,
it had the red for Kansas City and orange for the Bengals. And the only states that were red were Missouri and Kansas. And that was probably true because the Bengals were such an underdog. Everybody loves the underdog. That won't be the case next year now.
No.
But that's okay. We can handle it.
We'll take it while we can.
We can handle it. Well, we talked mostly about the Bengals, but I do want to touch on a couple of news things real quick.